This is going to be the Service Fusion Worker App training for advanced technicians. We're going to cover things like creating jobs or estimates from the Worker app and then also invoicing. The remainder of the pieces were covered in the basic Worker app training that was given to you before, but we're now going to cover things like using this Create New button on the right-hand side to create either jobs or estimates from inside of this window here. We're going to be asking for the same basic information in either one of those places. So if we are to hit job, we're needing to create a new job for a customer. We can either use this top field here that says customer to search through our current customer list for any existing matches to customers that we might have. Or if this is a new customer that's contacting us, say after hours, we can always enter in this contact information to create a new customer's record at the same time. We're going to pull up contact information for existing customers inside of these windows here, and then it's going to allow us to hit save. We do have a service locations piece right below that if we click select service location, we're going to be able to pick from any stored addresses that live inside of our customer's record. But again, we can always add a new one. And so if for this customer, Bruce Wayne has identified that he has a new location that we need to show up at, we can always add that from inside of the app as well. And any other pieces of information are just going to be nice to have. So you might have things like a job description for what the customer is calling you about or what they're asking for you to do while you're on site. So these might be things like no heat, no access to water, flooding, something like that they might need for you to take care of while you're on site. And then you also have a multitude of fields that you have at your disposal here, including the ability to assign this job to yourself or to a different customer or to a different technician. Now, it's going to be automatically assigned to you inside of this system whenever you're entering the job, but you could feel free to assign that to somebody else if that was a part of your company's process. Otherwise, at this point, we're just going to hit Create Job here. And this is going to, I have something not filled out properly here. This is going to give me access to create this new job. I'm going to be able to view the job details, or if I've entered it improperly, or if the customer wants to change their mind, then you can come in and cancel this job as well. Now, viewing the job details puts you right into that job information that looks very similar to what we covered in the last training, which is going to be where you would start processing the job. Now, if you were assigning this to somebody else, then you wouldn't need to process the job like this, and so then you could just navigate away from that. Otherwise, you're going to see the steps that you learned in the previous training to go through those steps that we covered before, where you're going to mark that you're on the way to the customer's location. You're going to do some map view at that point to get to the customer. You're going to pick that you're on site. Once you get there, process the job according to how you know that you're supposed to be doing the work and how your company has advised that you're going to be doing the work. And then at this point, this is where we're going to differ in how we process the job for basic technicians and how we process the job for advanced technicians, and that's related to invoicing. This is going to be the same process that you had before, where you're going to be adding in products and services, but you have been given access to see now pricing related to the products and services that you're going to be assigning to the job. So before, where we were picking the products and services, this regular price area was not going to be there. So now you're going to be able to see what your customer is being charged for these items. You can assign taxes. You can pick, if this is an inventory item, you can pick different warehouses. And adding the product is going to be exactly the same as it was before. But now you can see you have this red text on the right-hand side that's going to start stacking up and letting you know what your customer is going to be billed in the end. You can do the same thing for your services as well. So for your labor line items, you can come in and do a quick search for those. I have a couple of pieces that are missing here. You can come in and do a quick search for those. Again, you can manipulate the hours as you would need to. So if this is a 4-hour service, if this took you 2 hours to do, you can always make some updates to any of those as far as how much you're charging the customer for as far as hours go. Now, at this point, to issue an invoice, so once I've put in the products and services, I've done the work for the customer, I'm ready to actually generate an invoice to send to my customer or to give to my customer. Then the last step in the process, once I've decided, hey, customer, it's going to be $260 for today, then I would come up to the very top where it says started, and I'll make this say completed. That's the last step before I can actually finalize an invoice. Then I'm going to come all the way back down to the bottom one more time. And I have this big red bar at the bottom that's going to say finalize invoice. From here, I'm going to now be dropped onto this screen. Now, based on what your company is wanting for you to do, you have a couple of different options inside of this area. If it's going to be mandatory for you to take a payment, then you can hit this apply payment window here, where you're just selecting the type of payment. We do have in here, and it's according to your company's preferences, but we do have in here capabilities to take checks. If your company decides to set up credit card processing with Service Fusion, then you might be asked to enter credit card information. But dependent upon what you are selecting for the option, you're going to have different fields available to you. You're just going to be asked to enter that information and then hit that submit payment button at the bottom. From here, again, all related to how your company would like for you to do this and would like you to process inside of the system, but you have access to obtain a signature. If your company would like for you to use a payment type signature, then you have access to that. But then you do also have access to this email invoice. Now, this is going to automatically populate a couple of different things. So it's automatically going to attach a PDF copy of the invoice to an email that's already filled out for you. So you don't have to type in any email verbiage. You don't have to make sure that it's addressed appropriately. That's already going to be filled out for you. And the to email address is going to be brought over from the customer's record. So the only time that you would be asked to type in the customer's email address is if they had not given it originally whenever they called in, or you didn't have it already living in your system. Otherwise, it's already going to be there. You can just scroll down in this window here and then just hit send. It automatically sends a copy of that invoice to the customer, and then it's going to automatically track that in the back office system as well. From this point, I can just come in and hit this view job details. I'm dropped right back on this main screen. If I've done all the work for my customer, I've taken the payment, I've issued the invoice, everything is good to go, then I can just thank the customer for their business. I just hit this back button. It's going to drop me back onto the screen that I was looking at before. So I might see this window here, which is my next job to be working on. And then I would just click into that next job and again, just repeat the entire process from the main training. At this point, again, if you have any questions about how your company would like for you to process jobs inside of the system, inside of your worker app, you just reach out to your system administrator and just let them know that you have any questions. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.